There is a quiet trend in modern kitchens that often goes unnoticed, where the butter dish stays empty and the labels on the grocery shelf are scanned specifically for a 0 or a low next to the fat content. You might find yourself choosing a dry piece of toast or a salad without dressing, believing that by stripping away the oils and the richness, you are doing the responsible thing for your heart and your longevity. It is an approach born out of decades of careful advice, a habit that feels like a shield against the complexities of aging. And yet, you might notice that despite these lean choices, your skin feels a bit thinner, your joints a bit noisier, and your mind a bit more prone to a wandering focus. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the habit of avoiding fat can actually backfire after 60, and how bringing the right kind of richness back to your plate can restore your energy and protect your brain. We are going to explore the critical role that healthy fats play in the maintenance phase of our lives, moving past the old fears to look at the current science of vitality. Our goal is to shift your perspective from restriction to reinforcement, ensuring your body has the high-quality building blocks it requires to stay resilient. Have you ever felt like you were following all the rules of a healthy diet, but you still felt more fragile instead of more capable? That paradox is a common experience for many of us who have lived through the low-fat era of nutrition, where we were taught to see every oil as a potential threat. But there is a profound relief in discovering that your body's needs have evolved, and that the very foods you've been avoiding might be the ones your system is asking for most. To understand why fat becomes more important as we age, we have to look at the way our cells are built. Every single cell in your body is surrounded by a protective membrane made largely of lipids, or fats, which act as the gatekeepers for what enters and leaves the cell. As we move past 60, these membranes require more frequent repair and more high-quality material to remain flexible and functional. If we strictly avoid fats, our cells can become stiff and less responsive, making it harder for nutrients to get in and for waste products to be cleared away. This cellular stiffness often shows up first in the places we notice most. Our skin becomes less elastic, our eyes feel drier, and even our hair loses some of its natural luster. It isn't just a matter of appearance, it is a physical signal that your internal structures are lacking the lubrication they need to function at their best. When we provide the right fats, we aren't just adding calories, we are providing the raw materials for a more resilient and flexible physical foundation. In addition to our cell walls, we must consider the vital relationship between fat and our ability to absorb nutrients. There is a specific group of vitamins, A, D, E, and K, that are fat-soluble, meaning they cannot be absorbed by your body unless they are consumed with a source of fat. If you eat a bowl of steamed carrots or a fresh spinach salad without any oil, you might be missing out on the very nutrients you are trying to consume. The vitamins just pass through your system, leaving your bones, your eyes, and your immune system under-supported despite your intention. Which brings us to a pattern that many of us recognize in our own daily routines. Imagine a quiet morning where you've prepared a very safe breakfast of plain oatmeal and a piece of fruit, avoiding any cream, butter, or nuts. By mid-morning, you feel a strange sense of cognitive fatigue, a hollow feeling in your focus that makes it hard to finish the crossword or keep track of a conversation. This happens because your brain is nearly 60% fat, and it relies on a steady supply of healthy lipids to maintain the insulation around your nerves. This insulation, called myelin, is what allows electrical signals to travel quickly and clearly from one part of the brain to another. After 60, maintaining this insulation is a key part of preserving our processing speed and our memory. Strict low-fat diets can inadvertently starve the brain of the very materials it needs to stay sharp and engaged with the world. So, when we add a few walnuts to those oats or a slice of avocado to our lunch, we are quite literally fueling our ability to think clearly. Have you noticed how much more settled and focused you feel when your meals have a bit of substance and flavor to them? That sense of being settled is a metabolic signal that your brain has received the long-burning fuel it needs to stay on track. It is the difference between a quick-burning spark and a steady, reliable hearth fire. When our brains are well-fed, our patience is longer, our mood is steadier, and our daily confidence grows. Another area where avoiding fat can backfire is in the management of our hormone levels. Many of our essential hormones, including those that regulate our stress response and our bone density, are manufactured from cholesterol and other fats. If we drive our fat intake too low, we can disrupt this delicate internal balance, leading to a feeling of being on edge or physically depleted. For seniors, maintaining hormonal balance is a cornerstone of emotional steadiness and physical strength, making fat a tactical ally rather than a dietary enemy. Which leads us to the importance of modern nutrition after 60. We need fats for our brains and our hormones, and we've been told to avoid them to protect our hearts, but not all fats affect the heart in the same way, so we must learn to distinguish between the refined oils and the nourishing ones. The market gap in senior health advice today is the lingering fear of all fats, which often leads people toward high-sugar, low-fat alternatives. These processed swaps are far more taxing on a senior metabolism than a natural fat would ever be. In addition to metabolic health, healthy fats play a surprising role in our joint comfort and mobility. Think of healthy fats, especially omega-3s found in fish and seeds, as a natural internal coolant for inflammation. When our diet is too lean, our joints can feel more inflamed and less cushioned, making the simple act of a morning walk feel more like a chore. By bringing back the right fats, we are supporting the fluidity of our movement and protecting our independence. Have you ever felt frustrated because your body felt stiff, even though you were staying active and watching your weight? That stiffness might not be a sign of aging, but a sign of nutritional dryness. It is an invitation to look at your plate and see if there is enough richness to support the mechanical needs of your joints and muscles. Small adjustments in your fat choices can lead to a significant shift in how you move through your home and your neighborhood. Which brings us to a moment many of us have experienced during a routine checkup. You see a number on a lab report and immediately decide to cut out every source of fat, from the oil in your pan to the cheese in your fridge. For a few weeks, you feel virtuous in your restriction, but you also notice that you're constantly hungry and reaching for crackers or sweets late in the evening. This is the body's way of searching for the satiety that only fat can provide, leading you into a cycle of sugar burning that creates more inflammation than the fat ever would. Recognizing this cycle allows us to move toward a more sophisticated version of senior wisdom. Wisdom is knowing that a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil on your vegetables is an act of heart health, not a risk. It is understanding that the fat in a piece of wild-caught salmon is a specialized medicine for your brain. When we move past the low-fat headlines, we reclaim the ability to eat in a way that truly sustains us. Have you noticed how your relationship with food changes when you start looking for nourishment instead of just avoidance? That shift in mindset is incredibly empowering, as it turns every meal into an opportunity to strengthen your body. You are no longer negotiating with a list of don'ts, you are building a foundation of do's. And as that foundation grows, you find that you have more energy to show up for the people and the passions that matter most. In addition to brain and joint health, we must consider the role of fat in our metabolic flexibility. This is the body's ability to switch between burning sugar and burning fat for fuel. As we age, we want to maintain this flexibility so that we aren't constantly riding the blood sugar roller coaster. By including healthy fats in our meals, we teach our bodies to be efficient and steady, providing a sense of physical reliability that carries us through the long gaps between meals. Which leads us to a practical way to rethink your kitchen today. It isn't about adding fat for the sake of fat, but about choosing functional fats that serve a purpose. Think of an avocado as a tool for your skin, olive oil as a tool for your heart, and walnuts as a tool for your memory. When you see your food this way, the old fears of the low-fat era begin to fade into the background. You might try adding a small serving of full-fat Greek yogurt to your afternoon, noticing how much longer it keeps you satisfied compared to the non-fat versions. Or you might experiment with using a bit of real butter on your vegetables, finding that you actually eat more of the healthy greens because they finally taste satisfying. These are not cheats or indulgences, they are intentional choices that support a high-quality senior lifestyle. There is no one-size-fits-all amount, but the goal is to feel grounded, focused, and physically fluid. Have you ever felt a sense of relief when you realized that a more enjoyable way of eating was actually the healthier choice? That relief is a sign that you are aligning your habits with your biology. You are trusting the wisdom of your body's signals over the rigid rules of the past. And that trust is what allows you to continue leveling up, year after year. As you move through your week, try to pay attention to the texture of your energy. Notice if you feel more alert and less hungry-tired on the days when you include a healthy fat with your lunch. Pay attention to your skin and your joints, and see if a bit more richness in your diet helps you feel more comfortable in your own skin. These small observations are the most important senior health tips you will ever receive, because they are tailored specifically to you. You have the agency and the insight to refine your nutrition as you go. By understanding why avoiding fat can backfire, you've cleared a path toward a more vibrant and resilient future. You are giving your cells, your brain, and your heart the exact reinforcement they've been waiting for. And you are doing it all with a sense of hope and a commitment to your own lasting strength. Nourishment After 60 is a journey of rediscovery, a chance to look at the world of food with fresh eyes and a mature perspective. When we move away from fear-based habits and embrace the science of support, our world becomes larger and more flavorful. The journey isn't about being perfect, it's about being well supported, and that support starts with the very next choice you make in your kitchen. Every day is another chance to care for the body that's carried you this far. Keep learning, keep moving, keep believing in your own strength, because aging isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. If today's message resonated, take a moment to subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, or share this video with someone who could use a little encouragement. Because together, we're proving that aging well isn't the exception, it's the standard.